She's right there in the audience. And it was supposed to be It was supposed to be a fantasy session, but this little one decided to show up to get ready. So right on the night before Pesach, my waters broke and I had to go to the hospital. The next morning, I had her in my arms. She was delivered through C-section, and a beautiful, healthy baby girl. And I was as happy as I could be. Her brother and sister were absolutely exhilarated and held her in their arms lovingly. And my heart really skipped a beat just watching them. As it was time for them to say goodbye, I told them to have a really good time after saying to my parents for hosting that night. I kissed my husband goodbye, and I sat there, holding my beautiful baby, completely happy. And yet, I had this strange feeling in my stomach, and I couldn't really put my finger to it. I couldn't really tell what was going on. But then something happened. My door opened, and someone entered and introduced himself as Mark from Jewish Affairs. And he asked me if I wanted to say the baby, or some matzot soup, maybe some butter and dark brown sugar. And the Dutch between us, we all know that there's no Pesach with matzos smeared with butter and dark brown sugar, right? So I said, yeah, sure. I wasn't allowed to have solid foods yet, but I think just the sight of it would make me feel better. So when he returned, he was holding this small Seder plate and some candles I could light, matzot with dark sugar. And all of a sudden, this feeling that I had deep down inside, it was gone. I knew my parents were at home, my family was at home, singing the songs I sang throughout my youth, eating the food we only have once a year, and celebrating Pesach together. And somehow, just holding the Seder plates, I felt I could join in. You know, I don't keep Shabbos, and I eat Aviva style kosher. But I never skip Seder. It's something that's just in my yearly routine, and you just do it, right? And I thought, but now I had a baby, and it's more important. You know, I'm in hospital, it's okay, but I kind of needed it. I kind of needed to feel like I belonged to people, and I felt this gesture of Seder plates and candles. It just made me part of something. So 3 years ago, I was looking for a job, and I saw a job opening has opened up in Ziekenhuis Amstelveen at Jewish Affairs. So I knew I had to apply. Luckily, I got hired, and working there has enriched my life with so many wonderful stories. I'd like to share a few with you. I was doing my rounds on the Jewish board, as we do daily, where both Jews and non-Jews reside. We explained to them what the Jewish board is. They get kosher food. We ask if they have any questions. We like to feel the temperature of the room a bit to see if people are okay with it. And also we hope to find Jewish patients that might be in hospital at the moment. So this is where I meet Mrs. S. I have to sing her real name, so I'm just going to shorten it. So let me introduce you to her. Mrs. S is a lady in her 70s, and she just had knee surgery. I walk up to her bed, and I tell her she's in the Jewish ward. And her eyes light up a little bit. And she says, I am Jewish, but I married a non-Jewish guy. So I thought, let's just do our dance we do, you know. So I asked her, it was Friday morning, so I asked her if she might want to light candles or make Kiddush. Maybe she'd want to Challah. And at the word Challah, her eyes light up even more. Challah, she says, I haven't had a Challah in years. My mother, my dear mother, who I love so very much, she passed away 25 years ago, and not a day goes by I don't miss her. She would have a homemade challah every Friday, and the two of us would sit and eat together, and that was our Shabbat. It was actually the only Jewish thing we did, but it was our Jewish thing. And I haven't had a challah since she passed away. So as you can imagine, I run down to the hospital kitchen, like heels on fire, and I grab the prettiest two challah I can find in the freezer, and I wrap them up in a napkin. I bring them up to her room, and I don't think I can describe the look on her face. I don't think there's even words to tell you that. So I felt so fulfilled that even if I didn't do anything anymore that day, it would have been fine. So she's in hospital for a few more days, and her husband is at her side almost all the time until she's discharged. She returns just a few weeks later. She's very unwell and sleeps a lot. It's COVID times, and we all have to be really careful. We're not allowed to touch our patient's shoulder anymore, to console or reassure them. And visiting hours are limited to just one person a day for only half an hour a day. Mrs. S's husband is fragile, so he can't come into the hospital. He's afraid he might contract COVID, of course. So she's alone pretty much all the time. So I sit with her whenever she's awake. I have a small chat with her. I offer her challah, even if it's not Shabbos, just I bring her challah every day, whatever. And every once in a while she sees it, she has a little bite, but she's not doing well at all. So this goes on for a few weeks, until it's clear she won't make it. By now, COVID has really taken over, and restrictions are even, they've leveled up really. So she's in a room by herself. Nurses keep the door open, so they can pop their heads around the corner to see if she's still breathing. Because if they want to go into her room, they have to dress up in this whole gear, and they just don't have time for it. So to see someone at the end of their life, all alone, I just can't. So I decide to sit with her. I dress up in this whole sterile gear, cap, gloves, mask, gown, like an alien, and I sit with her. I know it's not my job, but I can't just leave her. But then again, I can't stay with her either. I mean, I have a family to tend to, and the hours are ticking by. Sadly, she dies when she's all alone. I come in, middle of the night, I say Shema, and cover her face with a sheet. But somehow, I feel she wasn't all alone at all. I think this one single gesture of Challah brought her mother so close to her that it was okay. And let me share another story with you. A story some of you might recognize. And it's about Tamar. Me and my colleagues have access to the list of patients that are in hospital. And we go through it on a daily basis to see if there's anyone we can offer our services to. And this is how I find Tamar on a maternity ward. I see she just had a baby girl, so I make sure to bring a nice present with me as I go to her room. It's a yad with an inscription and it has a small pink ribbon on it. So I knock on her door and I open it. And I introduce myself and explain to her who I am and what I do. And I hand her the present. Now she gets a little teary-eyed and she opens it. We have a little chit-chat about the gorgeous baby she's holding in her hands. And I offer her, is there anything I can do for you? But she can't think of anything. So as she's in hospital for a few days, me and my colleagues, we visit her on a daily basis. And as she's getting ready to get discharged, she's all happy and chatty and she's a whole different person. And she tells me she's so happy that she gave birth in our hospital. And she didn't even know it had a Jewish word. She was completely taken by surprise by it. And she told me she's making sure that she'll tell all her Israeli friends about it. Because she knows what it's like to give birth in a foreign country when there's no one around to offer support or just be in awe of her new baby. So somehow she felt she wasn't all alone and she felt part of a family just by me and my colleagues by our daily visits. And I don't even know where to start if I want to share with you all of the encounters with Holocaust survivors, both Jewish and non-Jewish. I could tell you about the man from Amsterdam who used to play with his Jewish neighborhood kids until they were taken away. And all that was left was their little dog, barking and barking, waiting for his owner's return. They never did. And to this day, this old man never shared his childhood trauma with anyone until we showed up at his bedside. And I don't even know where to begin if I want to tell with you all the times that we've heard, well, I'm not Jewish, but my mother was. And they always say, I wish you would have told me more about it. And there's so many times that we've heard, I don't know you at all, but it's so good to have a Jew by my bedside in this time of need. It just makes me feel safe and cared for. Now don't get me wrong, we're not all Florence Nightingales sitting at patients' bedsides like day and night, listening endlessly to inspiring stories. Most of the time, it's pretty boring. We do stuff like print flyers. We educate doctors and nurses. And sometimes we just make sure the water kettle is filled for Shabbat. But if every once in a while we can make a difference to one person, we're doing good. And this job to me is not just a job. It's caring for people. It's caring for my fellow Jew, and it's Bikur Cholim, caring for the sick. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. And I hope to be so for many more years to come.